Let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal! Go, 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 go! Six! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Welcome to our Wednesday morning get-together. Ross Peterson and Justin Miller with you this morning on therushradio.com. Glad to have you along. Of course, you can follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the fun. Like and subscribe on YouTube. That helps us out a ton. If you can share the stuff on Twitter and Facebook, and just remind as many folks out there as you can that Travis and I are back together, having fun doing this thing. Justin Miller is... They got to let me quit running the stuff. That's what they got to do. What they've got to do is stop letting me be in control of a few things. I'm just trying to get back to where we can have this little fancy thing right there pop up for us so that people know you can't call into the show today, by the way. Travis has the phone line. So don't worry about the phone number today. That's why it's not there. Big thanks to our friends at Willis Automotive for sponsoring the Rush Radio each and every day. Justin, and a big thanks to you for coming in on a Wednesday morning. Did you have to change your mowing schedule a lot here? Was this a big deal?
No, it's not a big deal.
People at Grandview aren't going to be putting on rough fairways today because of the rush. Okay.
Nope. We'll be all right.
There's plenty. You're not the only mower at Grandview?
Yeah, shockingly enough, I'm not the only guy who, I'm not the main star of that place. There's like 8 other guys.
I knew when John Walling sent me a picture of you on the mower that you weren't going to be the only guy.
I know. You were like, he looks nervous. And I said, yeah, I was. I've never touched any of this. I don't know what any of this means. I don't know what this is.
Has it been? Have you learned a lot, though, Justin? I mean, that is truly, I'm not even kidding, man. And I don't think I'm alone in this. Working at a golf course, doing what you're doing, because you are, for those that don't know, you're mowing at Grandview a couple days a week. Dude, I swear to God, this is like a bit of a dream job. Like, there was a moment, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. And it still is. There is a thing even now, man, with all the responsibilities that come. Like, you get to the golf course and you think, man, somebody got paid to get up this morning, same time I got up, and come in here and sit on a mower and listen to a podcast and watch the sunrise.
Oh, I've loved it.
I could see myself doing it, is what I'm saying.
It's so calming. And I have time to just really think about anything and everything. And yeah, you put on headphones, listen to music, listen to podcasts, and just drive around. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into it. Like, there's a lot more hard labor that we do afterwards. But those first 2 hours of your day, you're starting off sitting on a mower and mowing a beautiful golf course, which it's been really cool for me because I've gone there since I was maybe like 8 or 9.
That's where you learned how to golf. Like, by the way, the best course in the world to learn how to golf, because you can slice the ball 100 yards to the right, be 2 holes over. You just play that fairway up and then chip back over to your.
Yeah, you'll be perfectly fine.
Not recommended, but
may not be the right strategy, but you get the right answer. You get there. But what's been cool, because I've been going there since I was a little kid, is seeing the progression of the course.
Oh, yeah.
Different. So I got back from Wichita in March Madness, and it was that following week was my first week. And it was all brown, we haven't had a lot of rain. It was kind of gross. And now it's starting to look really bright green. I can actually see the lines I'm mowing because the grass is growing. It's starting to look really nice.
Justin, I love it. I completely agree. What they've done in the years with that clubhouse is amazing. That's like, it's incredible what's happened at Grandview. I'm going to have to take you up to Coldwater. That's where today is Eli's birthday.
Birthday,
and thank you. Well, I'll pass that along. I shouldn't say thank you. I didn't do anything. Well, I did. I did.
You did something.
I did. Okay, Justin, they're having a hard time hearing you on the stream. I need to figure this out. Again, this is why they don't let me do things. Can you not hear Justin at all on the stream, or can you barely hear Justin on the stream? I need a little bit of help there. But
Here, I turned up a few things.
Oh,
and
there
I
you go,
can't
Justin.
try to. Do I sound louder?
You do sound louder to me, but I do think you're right. There's something is not right here. Keep talking.
Hello. Test 1 2. I
Boy.
went to the Tom Hanks SNL thing. When he was on what was that? Wayne's World.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. No, that was Tom Hanks. That was in. Was that in Wayne's World, or was that on SNL?
I thought it was a Wayne's World skit where like, oh, my buddy.
Yeah. I think it's a Wayne's World skit from SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to figure it out. No Justin on the app, man. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'll try to figure that out. Everybody tells me YouTube, so hit up the YouTube stream for a while. Can't hear him on the app, but is on YouTube. Weird. We'll have to figure that out. We'll get our engineer Travis Justice involved from Kearney, Nebraska. I apologize. Chris Connolly's listening this morning on the stream, so can't hear Justin.
Oh.
What
I was going to say thanks, Chris.
All right, I'm going to figure that out when we get to break. Justin, I will tell you this, dude. You get people love you. People really do love you.
It is really cool to see all the nice comments. It is
even like this weekend being down at Bacon Fest. A lot of people come up and they start talking to me just about the endeavor here, the departure from the radio. People have a lot of questions. Right?
Rightfully so.
How'd that all go down? What was going on? And then almost every single person at some point is like, man, I love Justin. He seems like the nicest guy. And I tell everybody the same thing. I'm like, you're being fooled.
Oh, yeah.
He's got you wrapped up. What? Justin?
I mean, no, I'm on camera. I'm supposed to be going, no. What?
I usually go, this guy, and I show him the text that you send me with all the F-bombs and stuff.
Good. I send them for a reason. I don't try to hide it. Texts are permanent, right? You can always pull them up.
So thank you so much for coming on. I wish that
Anytime.
the people on the stream could hear your witty banter as much as I can. But I was getting ready to tell you before I realized when people started telling me you weren't on. I golfed up at Coldwater a couple weeks ago. Dude, have you ever played up there in Ames?
No.
That is a sweet golf course.
Really?
Man, it is really fun. You are playing in the shadow of Jack Trice Stadium. I mean, you're literally a few hundred yards away on the east of the stadium.
So is that where like the Iowa State students, like the school's golf team? Is that
yes,
kind of
I think that's one of the. I mean, they obviously at the Division I level, I think they play multiple courses, but I think that's their home course. It's nice. Okay. It was a fun place. We're gonna have to go up there. I'm taking Eli up there today. Letting him take the day off school.
Is he getting better at golf? Because I remember he was just starting to like truly get into it not too long ago, if I remember correctly.
I mean, it's a relative conversation.
It is with everyone. I mean, if someone was like went golfing with Ross, I would go, is he getting better? Everyone would kind of do the same face.
No,
it's relative.
No, but here's the thing: he's not trying to get any better. You need to understand that about Ross. Ross isn't getting any better, but he's not trying. It's not like he's failing at getting better. He's not trying to get better. It's weird. I don't know why he plays as much as he does if he's not trying to get any better.
My thing this summer, and I was telling my buddies about this, is I just want to do best ball when I go golfing now. Like, yeah,
I'm with you, Justin. I'm with you. I am not. Oh, ISU plays at Vinker in Ames. Thanks, Joe. Okay. I'm with you, dude. I'm out there to have fun.
Yeah.
I'm not even really competing with myself. I mean, I want to have what's the old line from that Little League coach? We're here to have fun, and nothing's more fun than winning.
Yeah.
Right? It is fun to be good at the game that you're doing. It's fun to smoke a drive. It's fun to hit a beautiful iron shot. Like that is, you hit a ball pure and it's flying, and you just feel like Tiger Woods for a half second. For a half second, you're like, oh, yeah, that's it. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm not out there. I feel like I've seen it with so many of my friends that there becomes a tipping point in golf where you start to, and you enjoy it. It's fun. You get good. You want to be great. You can't be great. Now it's frustrating, and you live in that world for the rest of your life. Where, yeah, do you golf? Yeah. Are you good? No. I'm a 4 handicap.
And guys like you and I are like, oh, hell yeah.
Damn, dude,
nice.
you free on Saturday? I could use a guy like you. And so I've said this a lot, man. I'm lucky enough. One of the other fellow realtors with me at Agency Iowa is my buddy John Olson, one of the best amateurs in the state of Iowa. John is the perfect guy to golf with. Super good. Super good. You will maybe never play a round of golf with a guy as good as John in your life. You would never know it. You'd never know it. And I don't mean you know it when the guy starts dropping balls 6 feet from the cup from 220 yards, like, oh, you're that guy.
And it sticks like Velcro. Instead, mine land and roll 30 feet off the green.
But when he hits the next one and it lands 6 feet and rolls 30 feet off, he doesn't get mad and angry. He goes, oh, that bounced funny. Oh, so now I hit from up there. Okay, let's go. They're like, yeah.
That's how it should be. And like, I have a bunch of buddies that are just learning to golf too. And so we take them out, and yeah, there's no point in all 4 of us trying to hit around trees. Like, just play best ball. Everyone gets a shot. It's your best shot every time.
Yeah.
I'm not caring about what I score. The only thing I do in like my head when we do best ball is like, okay, wonder how many of my shots did I use on that hole.
Right.
But I don't care. Like, if I
did
nothing to help, I still had a good time.
East High Golf Classic is coming up this weekend. I will be playing Saturday afternoon with 3 of my oldest friends, 2 of my buddies from kindergarten, and my best friend, right? If we use 3 of my shots, I'll be really happy. That I will have had a good day.
Yeah.
That includes putts. And they'll let me putt first to show them the line. So I have the first opportunity. I'll have the chance to have the most putts, right? 3 on the day.
Hey, it's better than none.
It is better. 3 is better than none in this scenario.
In the scenario. I just saw, did you see this comment? There was someone murdered at one of the golf courses.
Yeah, it was that was a young lady that was a student at Iowa State. She was a part of if I remember this guy, I should look this up before I dive in. I think she was a member of the cross country team.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, it was a sad deal, man. A couple of years ago, I want to say maybe a decade ago. Man, why am I guessing on this? We could find the details of this very quickly. It was a sad deal. They have a memorial for her on the court. When you get to that part, of the course, it's
no, I saw it. I was like, wait, like I've heard I know I'm not a big guy who's always got the news on, but like
that was let me I want to try to find out when this was.
But
that was she was 22-year-old. Celia was her name. She was I had some of those details right. She was not a cross country, she was a golfer. So I knew she was an athlete up there, and I apologize for that. That was a sad deal, man. That was happened in 2018. So not as long back as I'd remember.
Crazy.
Sad deal. But they have a little memorial for her. Thanks, Kaylin reminded, and Charlie also, that she was on the golf team there. So high and a very good player. So that was a sad deal. But it is a really cool golf course. I mean, especially if you're an Iowa State fan. It's cool. there's like the RV parking lot to the east of the stadium, and then right to the east of the RV parking lot. Literally on one of the holes, you're like, you could talk to the RVers if they were out there.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I need to get out more too of different golf courses. Like I've kind of done the Altoona tiny section of Des Moines area.
You've
I've done Grandview, Toad, Terrace, and I've
you done the
Colfax for some reason.
Colfax?
Yeah.
Have you done Blank?
No, I've actually never done Blank.
So, dude, the city courses are fun too. I mean, they're nice public courses.
I had a buddy who said though, if you go to Blank like early in the morning, sometimes you can hear the animals having sex, and he's like, "How am I supposed to putt with this?"
Justin, we are a family show.
Mating?
Thank you.
Sorry.
You can hear the animals mating. We were talking about the mating warblers that were outside of my window the other day.
Sick. You didn't think to call me for that one? Okay.
Yeah, you should have been listening. Yesterday was the anniversary, Justin. 42 years ago yesterday was when a tornado tore apart my house when I was a little kid.
Post. How old were you?
I was 4.
And yeah, you were saying how like you remember every detail from that day.
Yeah. So it's weird, man. I've learned a lot about like PTSD and stuff like that because it made me like scared of storms, made me scared of clouds for a while. But it does lock in your memories. Like there are certain things that are weird that I can remember. We were watching Knight Rider in the basement when the lights went out. I remember. So if people that are my age remember, you used to go down to Sec Taylor Stadium and you would get these plastic cups that had pictures of the Iowa Cubs drawn on the outside of them. So it was like a plastic cup like all of us have in our kitchen.
Souvenir cup, yeah.
Had been washed so many times, the drawings were fading on it. I can remember holding that cup in my hand when the power went out. My mom was up in the kitchen, and so we ran under the stairs. And my dad got me, my brother, and sister under the stairs. And then my dad went to go run back upstairs to get my mom. And we heard, my brother and sister and I just heard this big crash. I mean, thunderous tumbling. And then my mom and dad showed up under the stairs. Well, we found out later that what happened was that as my dad was going up the stairs, my mom opened the door. And that was about the time the tornado was hitting the house. And it like blew my mom down the stairs. So as my dad was running up to get my mom came tumbling down the stairs onto him, and they kind of tumbled down the stairs together and they got underneath with us. I remember my sister asking my mom, "Are we going to die?" And my mom very calmly said, "I don't know." The sound of the weather radio, we had like a little weather radio.
Yeah.
But dude, the sound of the sound of the tornado. Have you ever heard people say it sounds like a train?
Yeah, my mom has talked about that.
Dude, that's like, I can hear it in my head. When I think about the tornado, I can hear it in my head. It goes, it's like a machine. It's not, if it's a train, like I put in my thing yesterday, it's like standing next to a really fast moving, really big train. It's a machine on top of you. And then it went away, and it kind of got quiet for a second, and we could hear the neighbor's name was a kid named Matt Toulouse. He passed away a couple years ago, but we could hear him yelling, Peterson's, and my dad starts screaming, "We're in the basement!" And he went over to the door, and my dad's like pulling on the door and couldn't get it open. And Matt, he's a pretty big teenager. He's like kicking on the back because the foundation. The house had shifted on the foundation. I mean, the house exploded. Everything was gone. And the house had moved enough on the foundation that the back door couldn't open. And so Dad was pulling on it while Matt kicked on it, and they busted the door open. And then I'm on my mom's back. Now, this is where memories get really weird. Okay, I'm 4. This is the one part of the memory where when I share this with my family, they're like, What happened with your little brain? I'm on my mom's back, okay, and the door opens up, and we start to run out the back door, and we know we're going to turn and go around the house and run to Matt Toulouse's house. I swear to God to you, in my memory, there was a tunnel of sparks. When we ran out of the house, there was some sort of electrical thing happening, and there was a tunnel of sparks that we ran through as we ran out of the house and turned the corner. And the tunnel, it wasn't a small thing. It turned, it directed us on where to go, and we went to the Toulouse house. And eventually we were out of this tunnel of sparks, and I was holding on to my mom's back. Now, my brother, my sister, my dad, and when my mom was alive, they all go, "The hell are you talking about?" Now, I don't know what I saw. I don't know what that was. I don't know if what I like to believe is that I saw some sort of protective God thing there.
Yeah.
That my little brain could still see it, and my little eyes could still see something that they couldn't. I have no idea what it was. But that's my memory of it.
The closest thing I've ever been to with a tornado is that derecho or whatever it was called a few years ago.
Yeah.
In August. I think is it derecho? Is that what it was called?
Derecho? I don't know. Sure. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
Thing. And it's one of those where like part of me goes, it'd be cool to see a tornado. But then there's the other side of me that's like, no, it wouldn't. Because it's the same thing. I've always been like, it'd be so cool to see a grizzly bear. But then at the same time, you're like, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it wouldn't be a great experience.
I guess I'm glad you said the grizzly bear thing, Justin, because I think I can understand being in awe of the power of it. That where you can see something that is just truly awesome, where it's awe inspiring. You look at it and go, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm tiny. I don't like the people that are like, that's like celebrate tornadoes. You know what I mean? You get people that are like excited when storms are coming through. That would be like being excited that a grizzly bear is coming towards the town. Right? To me, what I've always said is that's like finding out there was a bullet ripping through a nightclub and being excited about the bullet. Somebody's life, because I remember being that little kid whose life got affected by it. I was scared of storms, dude. In first grade, my first grade teacher still remembers me as the little boy that would hide under desks when the clouds would come. You know how often clouds come in Iowa?
Like every day?
Every day. and she had this little 8-year-old standing by the window shaking. Oh!
Which I don't blame. I mean, being 4 or 5 years old, that's traumatic.
I had won a life-size, or my dad had won me at Adventureland that summer, a life-size monkey. Now, again, I'm 4 and I'm little, but to me, it was a life-size monkey. It had like big, long arms and
Velcro
legs.
Hands.
It didn't have the Velcro. It was the only thing that was missing was the Velcro hands. But this, I slept with it every night. It was like it was amazing. It ended up in like Newton.
Oh, crazy.
I don't know where Monkey ended up. He ended up scattered about eastern Iowa. Probably in Runnels.
Yeah,
they found,
like
they did find parts of they found like bills from our house in miles away. It was crazy.
Well, that's like the same story of, what was that, Greenfield? The ones last summer or last
that
fall,
was they were worse. What I went through was not even
those were
tornado wise. That tornado that I went through was not even like didn't even register compared to those others on that F scale.
But I remember the news talking about like during the cleanup of finding like photos of people miles and miles away.
This is not what I thought we'd talk about, but man, what a fun first 25 minutes of the show, or weird 25 minutes of the show. When we get back, we got a fun, jam-packed show today. We're going to have to spend the next half hour talking about Tyrese Haliburton and an amazing win for Indiana last night over Cleveland. Also, I fell asleep after that, saw the beginning of the Golden State game when they kind of transferred over, and I was watching that for a little while. But some news came out of that we'll discuss as well. But a jam-packed 7 o'clock hour. At 7 o'clock, we're going to talk with new Drake head football coach Joe Woodley, our buddy, West Des Moines Valley grad, Iowa State alum, of course, amazing success at Grandview University, and now taken over at Drake. And we're going to talk to him about all of those changes that have happened in his life. And then at 7:30, we're going to have Coach Rick Heller on from the Iowa baseball team, fresh off of their only West Coast trip. I would say their first West Coast trip, but it's their only West Coast trip. And now racing towards Des Moines for a weekend series at Principal Park, and really racing towards the end of the regular season as the Big Ten tournament looms in just like 6 games, I think, left in the regular season. So we'll talk to Coach Woodley and Coach Heller on the 7 o'clock hour, and some basketball talk here to wrap up the 6 o'clock hour next on The Rush, on therushradio.com. Justin, can you just vamp for it? Never mind, I got it.
I'm Corey Warren, and I'm an automotive technician here. I've worked here for right over 3 years. I was working for an independent shop. I'd say the environment, it's laid back and easy to get along with everybody. I've got a lot of old cars me and my brothers and dad work on, so I do a lot of that stuff. There's actually stuff to do. I grew up in a small town, so there's not that far from being able to do stuff.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Spring cleaning continues. Come down to Land Rover Des Moines to get your front and rear differential fluid services done for $199.95 each. Preventative maintenance is important to ensure your vehicle runs smoothly down the road. To schedule, give us a call or head online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back to The Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's The Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
First time I heard this music, it made me do the Trump dance. Welcome back to The Rush, therushradio.com. Ross Peterson and Justin Miller hanging out with you. Just tried to get some technical assistance from Travis Justice. We will get all of the audio up on the stream in the podcast. But, Justin, I've hit a button somewhere. We don't know what.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have like 2 buttons on my thing.
It's nothing you've done.
At least they're lit up, so I did something right.
I promise you that. This is one of those examples of how technology gets past you very quick, dude. It's amazing not many years ago, I was a cutting edge guy. Like I took such great pride in Jim Zabel calling me and saying, "Hey Ross, I need your help with stuff. I've got an interview. I need to record it. I need to have it sent off, and then I need to have it put into the system to play. I don't know how to do any of that. Jim, I got you. Keith Kirkpatrick, I gained a lifelong friendship with a mentor because I knew how to do email. Right? And now I'm 46 and it's gone. The world it's way past me. Ross, we can't hear Justin.
I don't know.
Is he talking?
Did you ask him? Is he talking?
Is he making noise? Is he making noise?
It may be a him thing.
It's probably Justin. Now, so I did call Travis during the break there, and I got a couple buttons I can hit here, but some of them might be fatal, and so we're not gonna play around. He can help us out once we hit 8:00, so we'll get to it. Did you get a chance last night to watch the Pacers Cavs game? We had Eli's birthday is tonight, but we have a busy night tonight, and so last night we went out for dinner. So I didn't get to sit down and watch the whole game. It was on at the restaurant that we were on. I kept an eye on it, and then I was able to get home to see the end of that game. And that if you haven't seen it, Haliburton hits a 3 with about 2 seconds to play in the game that puts Indiana up and gives Indiana the win.
Yeah, I was hanging with some buddies, and we weren't all like watching it, every dribble, every second, but it started to get to that point when the Pacers were starting to make their little comeback where your attention slowly starts drifting away from the conversations over to the TV. And yeah, it became, all of us said the same thing that people were saying all over social media. I know you told me your buddies were texting in the group chat. As soon as Tyrese hit that shot, everyone goes, overrated? Question mark? He's your most overrated?
Yeah. I think Chris Williamson had a tweet that said overrated my ass, something to that effect. I know if he didn't say that tweet, I know that's what went through Chris's head when Tyrese hit that shot. Man, we talked about this we've talked about Tyrese a lot lately. We talked about him when that poll came out from NBA players calling him the most overrated player. Unfortunately, talked about him because of the dad situation.
Yeah, which was nuts.
This is what I think we all, as a guy that's rooting for Tyrese Haliburton, this is perfect. This is exactly what he needed to have happen, to remind people that he is this guy. There's an incredible stat out there, Justin. I want to make sure I get this right. The first person that I saw give this to me was my buddy Ryan Grove, but I pulled up X this morning and saw that Rodney had also sent this to me. This comes from a Twitter account from, I don't know, Carson somebody. This is incredible. Tyrese Haliburton is 10 of 11 on shots to tie or take the lead in the last 2 minutes this year. Say that again. Last 2 minutes of a game, shots to tie or take the lead this year, he's 10 of 11.
And he's not wide open on like
a
third of those, because he's the guy, he's getting the ball in his hands with the clock winding down, and he still is efficient. And he was a guy, hand up accountability. I liked him at Iowa State. When he got drafted, I was sitting there like, man, I just don't know. Maybe he'll be a good role player coming off the bench. I didn't see him ever becoming like the star. And it's been really incredible because you look at his body type, and yeah, he's a great shooter, but you're like, come on, you're playing in the NBA. You're going up against LeBron James.
Justin, I think you're like, coming out of college, I thought those same things. And I wouldn't have said great shooter. I wouldn't. Coming out of college, I said, he's a good shooter. He's a real good ball handler. I could see him being at the top end, this coming out of college, that draft day, I would have said, I could see him being a little bit better than Monte Morris.
Really?
Yeah. So I would have, he's going to be out there, going to be a facilitator, be a great part of a team. He'll definitely be a culture guy. And with those things, if he can stay athletic, boy, he can have a good 4 or 5 year career in the NBA, couldn't he? And then that rookie year, I'm too cynical. That rookie year, when he's starting to have a splash and your Iowa State friends are going, hey man, Tyrese, my first instinct is to go, Cardinal and gold glasses, man. You're seeing the world through Iowa State glasses. You're making a bigger deal about this because you remember him as an Iowa State guy. And then it continues. And then you start to hear him on Dan Patrick. And you start to see him getting national, and he's got that same smile and swag, and everybody, and you go, and he continue, and most importantly, he continues to perform at a really high level. He gets into that category of like, oh, he's a great shooter.
Yeah,
he's not a really good shooter. He's a great shooter. How's his ball handling? He's an elite ball handler. He's an elite facilitator. Go, damn. It took it, but I was a little bit slower to it, only because of that cynical thing of, well, we see the world through our fan glasses,
which is a fair.
Yeah,
thing.
This is the same thing Hawkeye fans are doing for Caitlin Clark. She's only popular to Hawkeye fans, and then you step back and you go, Jesus, she's got her own Gatorade. Whoa, and and Tyrese, when you pull it up, and that picture right now that is on ESPN.com, when you pull up ESPN.com, it is that confident Tyrese Haliburton. I've always known I was this guy. That's what's pouring out of that picture on ESPN.com. It's very cool, man. I'm really happy for him.
And he's a guy too, in all those national media interviews, easy to root for. I mean, again, he always seemed cool with Iowa State. But when you get more pressure put on you, I think your true self kind of gets shown. And he's been very humble. I mean, even the stuff with his dad, handled that very professionally. This whole team is really fun to watch, especially offensively, because defensively, they scare me because they give up 120 points per game, it seems like, but they score 121. But I've become addicted. When you open up ESPN and they have the game cast, and you can go through,
see the little score metric thing tick up.
The winning percentages of okay, at this point,
win
Indiana
probability.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with the fourth quarter starting, it's basically 3 seconds left in the third quarter. Indiana was down 98-81. Cleveland had a 98.1% chance to win that.
Holy cow. Basically going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was almost a done deal. And they came back and won. And that's been now, because you see it all over social media when there's a big comeback of people putting a screenshot of that metric. I now go out of my way to try to find it for all sorts of games. Kind of looked at it with the Cubs blowing that extra inning game of, what was their winning percentage when PCA got that hit, and I love that. That may be one of my new favorite stats as a nerdy sports stats guy.
It when out again, you pull up a box score and there's something that jumps out at you, right? And you're like, wait a minute, how does that compute that way? And Cleveland definitely has one of those, because Donovan Mitchell had an amazing game. Donovan Mitchell had 48 points. He was 15 of 30 from the field. He was 1 of 7 from 3-point range. So not exactly proficient
he
score.
Kind of sucked.
Yeah, but 48 points on the night. 17 of 21 from the line. He had 9 assists. He had 4 steals. He also had 5 turnovers. So 48 points in 36 minutes. His plus minus, which I've never really looked at that, but there's something that really jumps out at this. Okay. Donovan Mitchell, 36 minutes, 48 points. His plus minus was 13. And if you don't know how plus minus is calculated, it is essentially, basically, what was the score while you were in the game? How did your team do versus the other team while you were on the floor? Okay. So while Donovan Mitchell was on the court, the Cleveland Cavaliers had 13 more points than the Indiana Pacers in 36 minutes. All right. Also starting for the Cleveland Cavaliers was Max Strus, who played 39 minutes. He had 23 points. His plus minus is minus 14. Donovan Mitchell's 36 minutes plus 13. Max Strus, 39 minutes, minus 14. The Indiana Pacers beat the Cleveland Cavaliers by 14 points while one starter was on the court and lost by 13 points while the other starter was on the court. Each of them played over 30 minutes. Math that. How? I don't know.
Plus minus, I've always just been like, I'm gonna trust ESPN on this.
I'm just gonna. You have to trust the stat that they calculated it the right way. But how does that math work out? Where one starter ends up, and they both had decent games.
Yeah, 23 points is a good game.
He was the second leading scorer on the team, besides the guy that almost went for 50.
Did he have a bunch of turnovers? Do you have that part of his box
He
score?
had two turnovers.
Okay, that's not terrible.
No, no.
Because that was the only thought that went through my head is like, did he just fumble the ball quite a bit?
So, again, that one, I'm not a box score guy. I have to pull it up today. I used to be a big box score guy. I'm with you, Justin. There's something about like the win probability and that the scoring graph that I feel like kind of you can at least see that and
I
get a feel for what the game was like in some way. I don't know. It's a good snapshot for a game you didn't see.
I think it stemmed from because I didn't go to preschool or anything like that.
We could tell. I wondered what was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a lot of things, but that's definitely a teller. And then, for breaks during school, I'd always go to my grandparents and they would always go to McDonald's for breakfast and getting the sports page and going through box scores. I loved it. Loved it as a kid.
I think that was all of us as kids, man. Getting the register delivered to you and you'd sit down and go through the box score.
There's something special about it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I loved it.
Did you see your Cubbies last night? Did you watch any of that?
Yeah.
Had a couple of NBA playoff games that you had to get to. You could have turned that Cubs game off early.
I thought it was done.
Missed out on the extra innings, man.
I thought it was done when they were down one with about 2 outs to go. I was like, man, a little worried about this. And then they were able to come back, and you have all this hype and all this momentum. Hodge is throwing great. And then they put in Ryan Presley and just absolutely sells the game. This Cubs team, I was telling you during our pre-show meeting, I think even non-Cubs fans would agree they're the most entertaining team in baseball because, damn, that offense is fun to watch. But also how bad their bullpen is, you don't ever feel comfortable in a game. Cubs could be up 10-0 and blow it, or they could be down 10-0 and come back with that offense. And there's so many questions. I would love to get a guy like Tommy or Alex Cohen to talk to about why are the Cubs going through these bullpen issues and having guys like Ryan Presley give up 9 runs in an inning. And yet you have guys like Keegan Thompson sitting in Iowa pitching like a 1.33 ERA right now. What's the process?
Tommy's going to come on with us at 6:30 on Friday.
Okay.
And so we'll have
Tommy
there you go.
Fix the bullpen.
Yeah. He's been asked that before. I mean, that's been Justin, I think that this will be a good one to pick Tommy's brain on. But you're not the only team with bullpen issues. Might be the biggest bullpen issues. Might be the team where it's the most glaring hole.
Yeah.
Because you're like you said, they're playing such good baseball in other ways. It's funny you brought up the win probability thing. So Michael Busch gets walked in the bottom of the 10th inning. At that point, the Cubs had an 82% win probability. Bottom of the 10th, you got a runner on with 1 out. 82% chance that you're going to get that runner around, score that run, win this game 6-5. Instead, a couple of flyouts later, you head to the top of the 11th where history happens. This is incredible. The Giants set a record in the 11th inning with 9 runs in the top of the 11th inning. Now, I swore I read earlier that I'm trying to find out because in baseball, it's always north of the Mason-Dixon on nights with a full moon, blah, blah, blah. There's all sorts of qualifiers for every record and stat. But I thought that they said this was the most runs scored in an extra inning in Wrigley Field, in the history of Wrigley Field. I'll try to find that article again because I thought that was what I saw was, record-breaking 11th inning.
It felt like it. I'll tell you that. Watching it, it was just crack, crack, crack. Presley, he's done this all year long. Or I shouldn't say all year long because the season is still fairly young. But at the start of this season, this is kind of what he's been doing. Is most of the time he finds a way to get out of it, but he gives up runs early and often, and then he finds a way to calm back down. But this time, the Giants just had his number. But the Keegan Thompson thing is my biggest question with this team. Of you have a great bullpen arm sitting there in Des Moines, so fans, I would go out there as soon as possible to watch them because I would think.
Justin, have you gone down to watch the iCubs at all, dude? They are really fun this year. The games that I went down to watch, I shouldn't say games. I've been down to one game, dude. They're running. Their stolen bases are back in baseball, and you notice it. Like, this is fun again. It's not standing around, I guess, is what it seems like or feels like. And
at the start of the season, they were voted by MILB as like the most athletic team. And then I think the White Sox, interestingly enough, were in the top 3 too. But the Iowa Cubs were number 1.
You ready for the mega contracts of baseball? Are the Cubs ready to dabble and play?
It's funny you think the Cubs pay. Oh, I think Dansby Swanson and Jason Hayward are the only 2 Cubs players to ever get over like $120 million on a contract. I seriously think they're the highest paid Cubs players ever.
Well, dude, the article that's out from ESPN is talking about this next round of mega deals that are going to come around. $600 million deals for Paul Skeens. And one of the names that's thrown out there as like the article goes through the next several years of these true superstars that seem to be on the verge for a lot of these teams. One of them is Pete Crow Armstrong. That's a really exciting player. Now, the Cubs are a couple of years away with him. In fact, I think he might be 28. So I think you've got another 3 years left with that. But with the contracts going the way they are, ESPN's predicting $600 million contracts for guys in this range. Pete Crow Armstrong's not alone. He's just one of the Cubs that was on that list of teams better be preparing now for how they're going to finance this stuff later.
PCA has really taken this year by storm because his defense has always been incredible. That's what made him a major get for Chicago. And I think it was the Javi Baez trade. They traded Javi Baez and they got him from the Mets. And his speed, but his batting was always kind of a question mark.
Yep.
This year, his batting has really come along. He's patient, but there are moments, and I think it is a little bit of a PTSD thing of the downfall we saw from Javi Baez.
Oh,
if you watch him bat and you go to that bottom of the 9th when he struck out, those sliders were like 2 bats apart from the strike zone. And it was very Javi Baez reminiscent of watching it and just sitting there and going, man, get him to calm down. Don't change him. Don't change like his routine because it's clearly working for him. But when he had a home run in Milwaukee last Sunday, it was a golf swing where the ball was almost on the ground and he just got a hold of it, was able to get a home run. But I'm like, that's a pitch you shouldn't be swinging at.
Justin, that's astute, man, because I'll be honest, for years with Javi Baez, I was so guilty of getting blinded by the flash. I really did think Javi Baez was going to be a special Major League Baseball player. He had it all except for plate discipline. And that one thing was enough to undo him very, very, very quickly. It didn't take long for pitchers to realize you just don't know how to throw the ball. Just present the ball, and he's going to start swinging.
The little bit of the slider, curving outside, he's going to get it every time.
So the article that I want to read, the Pete Crow Armstrong part of this alludes to that the one thing that's holding him back is plate discipline. Cubs have already reached out to him about extensions, and he has apparently rebuked their offers and just said, I don't want to talk about this now. We'll talk about it during the offseason. They offered him a $75 million extension. He said he wants to wait till this offseason. This article suggests his value during this winter will vault into the $200 million category. And by the time he's a free agent in 2030, it could be twice that.
The money is crazy in baseball. Like, have you ever seen when they break down Juan Soto's contract by like how much he makes per second? When he makes like almost $50 per second.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
But the second thing is the Cubs just don't pay anyone. They haven't for a long time. And I was going to look up here because I truly do believe, I think that Jason Hayward and Dansby Swanson contracts, those are the highest in Cubs history. And you're like, I like those guys. They were good. They're good players. But out of
Jason
everyone, Hayward was a Gold Glove defender, but wasn't a great
a 220 hitter on his good days.
And Dansby is a really good, he's starting to, kind of become better as an overall player with his batting as well, but is more of a defender. But Anthony Rizzo, you don't give a huge contract. Chris Bryant,
Justin,
you don't give a huge contract.
But dude, when you say the Baez thing, man, that brings up that entire roster in my head of what could have been. Chris Bryant was supposed to be a Hall of Famer. Anthony Rizzo had a good career. He went on, played with the Yanks, had a good career, and he was kind of the oldest guy in that group anyway. So he was bound to be the first one to kind of fade off from that. But the Baez thing, the Bryant thing.
What about Contreras?
Another one. He was the best catcher. He was going to be the best catcher in baseball. He was going to take over from Molina.
So mad that we got rid of Contreras because catchers are so hard to find that are versatile as he is, and went to the Cardinals, got hurt, I think, against the Cubs, and haven't heard a thing about him since.
Andrew says on the chat, Cubs need to get Kyle Tucker's contract wrapped up first. Is that okay?
I think a lot of Cubs fans, last night too, he was the one that drove in that tying run, is extend him, pay him, whatever you need to do, get Kyle Tucker.
I'm wondering if I missed him on this list because it's funny. He is the little poster boy for the article.
Oh, really?
He's the photo that they use for, hey, MLB's next $600 million stars are coming. And it's a picture of Kyle Tucker. But I did not see him as I was kind of going through. I think I know why. Because it starts with the low numbered guys. I don't think I scrolled down far enough to get to the $600 million dudes. Kyle Tucker is in the $300 million or $500 million range with Ellie De La Cruz. Says this one's tough. Nobody doubts Tucker's talent as a player, the combination of other elements, the potential lockout after the 2026 season, changing the game's finances. The presence of big revenue teams that could choose to avoid a deal of magnitude of which Tucker will rightly seek. Tucker is to exceed $400 million, surging past the $500 million mark. Could be tough, but no one anticipated Juan Soto to get $765 million.
Is that something that needs to be fixed? Is it?
What do you mean?
Like, it's so much money. And
Buddy.
It feels like, I know the Cubs have money to be able to pay for players like that, but it feels like the Yankees and Dodgers, we've always talked about it, will just be the ones that are able to do it. Or are they just the ones that are willing to?
Willing.
Maybe it's not an able, it's a willing.
That's it. I mean, none of these owners are poor. All right. What they're all trying to do is make money. Like, Justin, man, it seems like such a cliche to always fall back on that. Hey, it's all about the money. Follow the money. Money, money, money. That's what it is. That's what it is. The owners they are not in this for the fun of it. Very few of them are in it for the fun of it. They're in it because it's a business and they want to make money. And how do they make money? Well, you keep costs low. You keep the product just at that right level so that people keep coming to buy it. And that's how you make money. And if you don't have the product to bring the people in, you got to cut more costs. Because the most important thing is a profit at the end of the year. It's not winning helps with that. It creates a means to the end. But if you're not winning, you just cut the costs, and that's how you make the money right. Because if you're not making money, you're selling the team because you can sell the team for $600 bajillion.
Yeah.
Even if an MLS franchise that you've never heard of, that's never won a thing, is worth 7 figures. The New York Mets, they're worth $700 billion, something ridiculous. So I know it's a cliche and it always is in professional sports. We do this a lot, but dude, every one of these answers is money. The answer to all your questions on professional sports goes down to money. All right, we are going to race into the 7 o'clock hour, a busy 7 o'clock hour. Excited to catch up with my buddy Joe Woodley. He has had an interesting little offseason here. A national championship followed up by a job change, and I want to catch up with him on all of those things. He is now the head man, of course, at Drake University. Justin has caught up with him a few times with the Media Row podcast, and we're going to get a chance to do the same here on the Rush Radio here in the 7 o'clock hour. Coming up next, therushradio.com.
Spring is here.
We'll try that again, Justin.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how Bats and Bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
Fong's Pizza has moved to 317 East Court in the East Village and is ready for good weather with an expanded menu and a patio that is ready for pals, pints, and pizza. Fall in love all over again with the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
Hi, my name's Jerry Rodriguez. I'm a Lexus technician, and I've been with Willis about 28 years. My favorite part about working at Willis has to be my coworkers, teammates, a lot of like-minded folks with the same goals in mind, and that's taking care of the customer. We have the fishing. I enjoy fishing. We have a lot of good fishing here in the Des Moines area with various lakes.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Back at it with the 7 o'clock hour here on The Rush, therushradio.com. Glad to have you along with us as we welcome in our friend, Coach Joe Woodley, to the show for the first time. Coach, thanks for hopping in with us, man. How you been, buddy?
Doing good, guys. Appreciate you having me on. And when you asked me, Ross, I think I did tell you I was in Arizona recruiting, but I don't know if I did or I didn't. But short story long, it's 5 a.m. here right now.
Dude, you did tell me that, and that's why I wondered. I thought maybe Friday would work better. I'm sorry.
No, shoot, man, I'm up. I'm ready to roll. I got schools outlined for today. I'm ready to go. Just might. I probably could have maybe I could go take advantage of it and work out or something. I don't know that I'm going to do that, but so yeah, it's pretty early here right now, but certainly had no problem getting up for you guys. So,
buddy, I appreciate
me on.
I appreciate you doing this for us, man. Let's just go back and talk about all these changes. We got a lot of catching up to do, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners would be curious just about this transition for you. What the biggest changes have been, kind of what brought this on. Great opportunity for you after a really successful. I know how much you loved Grandview and how much Grandview loved you. So can we just talk about that for a second and that leaving there and taking this opportunity with Drake?
Yeah, Ross, you know Grandview's a special place, and it always will be to me. And I just felt like, I was there 17 years, so that's a long time, especially really just in the coaching profession in general, and to be able to be at one place for that long a time. Number one, very grateful for the time that I did have there, but I think sometimes you just get to a point in life where you just feel like you want a new challenge or something that's on the horizon. And that's really what it kind of boiled down to at the very end. It was difficult leaving a lot of the people there, namely the players, especially after the season that we had this past season. It was a special one, and and I felt like I said, it was just kind of time. I was, and it's not always about the wins and losses, but sometimes intrinsically something that kind of gets you fired up every day are the wins and the losses. And, I was able to be a part of my dad's staff as an assistant. We won a national title. And then, fast forward, through my 6 years as a head coach, won a national title. I was able to be a part of a national title as the head coach, did them both, started the program from scratch. I just felt like we left that place in a much better spot than we found it. It didn't exist when we found it. But yeah, and then this opportunity was just too unique, too special. Much like Grandview, I knew a lot of people involved there before I got there, and Drake's the same way. I've known Brian Harden a long time.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, that was an important piece of making the move. Just knowing who you're kind of working for every day. I truly believe Brian has my back, and he certainly showed it to this point. And and the most unique thing about it is, as everybody knows, I didn't have to leave my house. I didn't have to move. I didn't have to do any of those things that I think that could have that I think does strain families in this profession. Is if you do try and quote unquote climb the ladder or take a new opportunity, well, you're usually moving to a whole different city, and I didn't have to do that. So again, that's kind of what made it unique, and family's pretty important to me, and very important to me. And I got 3 teenage daughters, and I've had conversations in the past, because there's this certainly wasn't the first opportunity I've had in my coaching career, and they're right in the thick of it. They're all teenagers, and when I was a kid, my dad would just tell me and my brothers, "Hey, get in the car, we're moving." We did that 3 times. It doesn't work like that in my house. So So to not have to do that, accept a new challenge, and really just go be a part of something really special over Drake, because I think I just think what Brian's done there with all the coaches and athletic department, the school, Marty Martin. I just think there's been great visibility with Drake in such a positive light in recent years, and there always has been. I just feel like it's been accentuated here. The last several years, namely, I think Brian's, I want to say he's in his 7th or 8th year as AD, and just really marketing that place in all the right ways that it should be, and so that was part of it too. But again, just thankful for this opportunity, and that I get to be at Drake, and early on, I'll be honest, there's I think a lot of. Anytime, you kind of make moves in your career, Ross, I know you've done it. You're kind of wondering, what the hell did I do? You say that to yourself a number of times because you were so comfortable in a place. And, I'm for the most part through all of that. It's been over 4 months now, as crazy as that sounds, since I've been here. So certainly feels like home.
All right, so I know you're in Arizona recruiting right now. You're in that kind of roster building phase still. Is that fair to say? Where are you at? What's the biggest need, I guess?
Yeah, well, I'm down here, and all my coaches are on the road everywhere else, and so we're starting to build for our 2026 high school senior classes, and so you're out kind of, these are the things we didn't get to do for Drake last year. We were kind of playing catch up to this point, and kind of delayed our, us getting out. Schools have, probably been out for a couple of weeks, but everything got pushed for us a little bit because of when I got hired. They called it a dead period. There was a time frame in there where we couldn't do any recruiting, and we still needed to build the 2025 class, and it took us probably a little bit longer. It took us kind of the more traditional route, what everybody was used to for so many years, until they came with the December signing day. I think the previous staff had signed about 20 guys, but before we had gotten here, and I felt that we needed to bolster it even more. So we had two and a half more weeks of official visits, and we signed 19 kids in a short amount of time, and real high quality kids in a short amount of time. So that took us a little. Yeah.
Can we talk about like that quality of player? Is it similar to the type of player you were recruiting at Grandview? I mean, did some of those players, were you able to just call and say, "Hey, man, I'm making the move. I think you can make this jump too," or is there a talent gap there that you had to kind of start to work your way through?
No, Ross, I think you'd probably find it pretty similar. As you know, we'd been competitive with Drake in the past with our teams at Grandview, and and actually won a couple times. The last 2 times that we played that game. So I knew those teams at Drake still went on and had great years. So I knew we were going to be kind of shaking the same trees, for lack of a better way to put it, for the kind of kids we got, and and there's some kids we got in the area, quite honestly, that didn't show much interest in Grandview, but they did at Drake. So I guess it just kind of depends, and they're really good players. So I just think it's just really you've got to find the right kid. It's a dynamic fit. They've got to not that kids didn't have value their education at Grandview, but I think it's to kind of the nth degree here a little bit at Drake with that, and obviously there's some specialties that Drake has that that looks good for some kids down the road with their whatever their degree program is. But yeah, getting back to your original question, Ross, yeah, I think we're going after similar kids, and now we probably go after a little bit more of a you probably need to have some measurables, height and things like that, because we do play. We play South Dakota and South Dakota State this year back to back. So, and so we've got to be able to match up in those games. And the goal is, the goal will always be to win the conference championship. And, you got to be able to stack up in that. But the way I look at it, I want to be really competitive in those games, So I would say maybe one of the bigger differences, Ross, is just being a little bit more exacting on your roster size. So Grandview, we had, there were years we had 160 guys, so you can, for lack of a better way to put it, you can kind of make a mistake and still survive, and
Yeah.
there's probably not as much of that room for error at Drake, but like I said, to me, Drake is just, as we all know, like I'm out here in Arizona, and if this is no disrespect to Grandview, but people are going to know of Drake.
Yes.
They're going to know that, and that to me is probably one of the bigger differences, and that kind of gets kids excited. I would say a little bit more is just kind of that logo that's on the chest, and that's what probably makes it maybe a little more appealing. I don't know.
Coach, you've been now here for 4 months. It's kind of been quick 4 months. You blink and it's already May, which is crazy. But what's kind of been the biggest hurdle so far? Maybe you were expecting a challenge and it turned out to be a little harder than expected, or something caught you off guard. What has been the biggest hurdle?
Yeah, I think probably one of the bigger challenges right away was just assembling a staff, and at least that was the initial one, and just because because obviously EJ replaced me over at Grandview, and he was certainly somebody I would have considered. And and then my offensive coordinator, he left to go to Central Michigan to be the offensive coordinator out there. Obviously, a great opportunity for Derek, and so then you're kind of trying to put together a staff of a lot of guys that, I wouldn't say I didn't know them, but I had to rely on really good relationships I had with other coaches to hire them, and so that part was a work in progress. I had a full staff. It didn't take me real long. I probably got it done a little bit sooner, but then two of the guys that I hired already took new jobs. One went to South Dakota, one went to Army. So you're just kind of constantly, again, you hear all these ADs say it all the time. They got this list of names in their top drawer. Man, football coach, you better have a book of names. So, because it is, we're we don't have the salary pool of Iowa and Iowa State, so
yeah.
You're usually working with a lot younger people, and and I'm getting older. Evidently, I'm one of the guys on the team calls me Grandpa, or they joke about it on the team, but because I'm 44 years old. Ross, I think you're right around 45.
Let's not talk about it.
Yeah. And the next oldest coach I have on my staff is 32 years old. So I guess and I wear these stupid cheaters now, and I feel like I hate that I had to, because my phone's the only thing I have here. I wish I had my my iPad or something, so I didn't have to put these on. But I can't see this phone if I don't have them on. But yeah, Justin, I would say that was probably the first challenge, and then really for me, it's still a challenge I battle every day. It's just knowing everybody, like I said, being at Grandview for 17, you know everybody, just how everything's done. It's just really learning all those new things at this place. And again, it's just a work in progress. It'll take time. And I'm somewhat patient, but when it comes to stuff like that, I'm probably not as patient as I should be. But I would say those are definitely the, two of the things that, were tough. And the easy part was getting to know the players. I had individual meetings with the players as soon as I got the job, and so that that started to make you feel like a coach. But then you had all these kind of other things that pop up, and especially being the new coach in Des Moines, you're kind of getting pulled a lot of different directions, whether it be a speaking engagement or I judged the beautiful bulldog contest. I had to do like a Zoom for like an hour just to like learn how to judge it, and then the actual thing itself took like 4 hours. I'm like, man, that is a lot of time for me right now with some things I got to do and still balance a family. And so again, and I love doing it. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
It's just you're just kind of
it's different.
You're getting pulled in some different directions, which is okay, and because it's bringing great visibility to our football program, and so I would say those were probably two of the bigger challenges, because they're always just a constant work in progress, and hopefully we will continue to get there on both fronts.
Joey, having growing up in Des Moines here, I had no idea how serious the beautiful Bulldog contest was. Then getting to know Brian and Blake, and now of course you being on the side, getting my foot in the door at Drake. Several times I've had people like, "Hey man, don't joke about this. Like this is very, very serious business." And I had no idea. I thought it was like some silly, fun thing that they did. And then I got my toe in the water, and I was like, "Whoa."
Did you judge it? Did you judge it?
I've never judged it. No, but we've had, because I think I said something about it on the air once about it being a kind of made light of it.
Yeah.
And somebody, maybe it was Mike Sigelman at the time, one of my Drake contacts reached out and was like, "Hey, I get it, but this is a very serious deal."
Yeah, Ross, you and me both, and I probably shouldn't say this live on the air, but because I said, like, I'd kind of heard of it, kind of like you.
Yeah.
I had no idea the event it was. I mean, half the Nap Center was packed.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
I had no idea. Yeah.
So anyway,
pretty cool.
that's one of the things that exceeds expectations. What are and that Justin talked about those hurdles that came up. Joy, what are some of the things that have that you maybe thought would be more difficult? What are some of the things that have been easier than? Is there anything that's been easier than you'd feared?
Yeah, I don't know if easy is the right word for it, Ross. But again, I think I alluded to it a little bit earlier. I don't want to say recruiting's easier because you're just kind of shopping down a different aisle. But I just think because of that logo, because of that brand, there's a lot more kids coming to you than you are going to them. And that to me has been really the most inviting thing about it. Again, just the access to some of the kids that we've had, and really in this era of transfer portal, I'm just like, well, how does that look at Drake? And man, we're getting some really good kids that are coming here, and we're still working on transfers for this year. Not an abundance of them, but we could use some help in some areas, and to get our roster size to really where it needs to be for us to have some depth and be competitive. And because I think the last 2 years, and of course, the other positive thing is, usually you're taking a new job when they've been struggling, but
that's a good point.
These guys are coming off 2 conference championships, so they have an expectation to win. And but in the last 2 years, because of COVID, they have had 2 really big fifth-year senior classes in a row. And this year, I think we have 3 guys that are fifth-year seniors. So now there's a big senior class, right, about fourth-year guys, but there's only 3 of those fifth-year guys. And I think last year they had like 23.
Wow.
And I want to say the year before was in the 20s as well. So again, I don't know what that'll look like. Obviously the current players on the team probably have a feel for that, and the fans and supporters probably know what that looks like a little bit. But I know one thing. My expectation is to win football games. I know our coaching staff is, and the good thing is our players. They expect to win. So, and that's usually one of the harder things to accomplish as a coach. And I learned it firsthand at Grandview. It didn't take us long to win, but it was once you got them believing that they could, the rest was history over there. And hopefully we can just kind of piggyback off what they've been doing, and it's probably going to look a lot differently than what they're used to. But the positive thing is Drake football. At least as long as I've been following it, been around it, has been a successful football program. Because I think I looked it up before when I was kind of looking into the job. They, in the past 20 years, they'd only had 3 losing seasons, and 2 were right during that COVID stretch.
Wow.
When it all kind of went down and all that. So and it's a storied history, and the people that reach out and. Like Drake Relays is, for lack of a better way to put it, as you guys both know, it's like homecoming in the springtime. I got to meet a lot of people, a lot of alumni, people that really care about Drake football. And, that was just something that people certainly cared about football in Grandview, but our history wasn't very old, been very, very successful. But I think our oldest alum in football, I don't even know how old they'd be right now. Not very. So, none of them are 40 yet. I know that. So, pretty young alumni base. And when you're, and so there's a capacity here, I think, to do some special things, because there is support. And like I said, it is a long, storied program.
Yeah. You're not the only new head coach. Have you had a chance to meet Coach Hendo yet?
Yeah, I have. So kind of a wild strat, and I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. And so my brother Matt Ross, as you know, Matt played basketball at Drake. So I've certainly been in Drake circles for a long time. And of course, he came back and coached at Drake with on Darren's first staff. But so Matt's first job was a graduate assistant at Wayne State, Nebraska. And
oh, no way.
And Hendo he and Hendo were the GAs together. So yeah, no, I didn't really. I think I may have met him once upon a time Matt wasn't at Wayne real long, but certainly know of Hendo. Of course, he went and worked for Coach McDermott at Iowa State for a couple years, and just known of him. And of course, he's from Iowa. And then you follow his success at South Dakota State, and like I said, my brother Matt's pretty tight with him because when Ben left, I said, well, who's Drake going to hire? And he didn't even hesitate. He said Eric Henderson. I'm like, oh, really? And just getting to know him, man, is that guy's like electricity. He's kind of got that Coach McCarney type of energy to him. You walk over into his office or you see him around, and it's he's slapping you on the back, he's hugging you, he's yelling, he's just a real positive guy, and he's been great to work. Not that I'll necessarily we'll do a bunch of things together, but I know Drake basketball is in really good hands, and
I think it's
been in good hands. So
I do think you guys can help each other with that, Joe. I mean, the more exposure, you guys are both personable Iowa guys. I think the more that you guys can do together will help with that. What are the things that you need right now? And I'm not saying like, what we're asking for the community for a handout. I genuinely mean for the program to be successful, what do you need to create at Drake?
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be successful, because you're right. You're not taking over some downtrodden program. What do you have to do to maintain the success that they've had and continue to grow it?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest thing, and it might be a boring answer, Ross, but it's really just continuing to build trust, whether it be with, us, the administration, but most importantly, us and the players. They've been doing things a certain way and been having success, and it's easy for coaches to come in and kind of give them the my way or the highway type approach. And I believe in doing things a certain way, and from what I can tell, these kids you can't say they bought in yet, but I think you can start to see it a little bit. You'll have true buy-in when you truly hit some adversity. And quite honestly, we haven't had much adversity. The only adversity we really had to this point was just during spring football, and leading up to spring football was just some injuries. And so there was a time, I shouldn't say a time, but really about that last week of spring ball, if one O lineman went down, if one DB went down, or one receiver went down, it was going to be hard to do any live type team scrimmage reps. So we had that spring game. Justin was there the other night. I don't think many fans, and we had a hell of a crowd there. We had a bunch of recruits there, and it was a pretty good atmosphere, probably as good as one I can remember for a spring game. Those aren't real exciting, but at any given moment, if somebody would have went down with an injury, I was blowing that whistle, and like we were going to go to like in individual practice drills, because but luckily we made it through. And again, a lot of the injuries I'm talking about are ones that guys will come back from. So it was just I don't know if it was just a bad luck, string of bad luck, but like I said, we made it through. But yeah, Ross, get back to your original question. I just think really it is building that trust. I don't think it's any material thing. I didn't know if that's where you were headed with that question.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was literally. I didn't know if it was like, well, I could recruit better if I had blank. You know what I mean? You got a nice historic stadium.
Yeah,
you've got it, like you say, you've got the success to build on. Yeah.
I think any coach would.
I'm excited for you, Joe.
Yeah, I think any coach would want, better facilities, things like that. And I do think that there's room for improvement there. There's no doubt. And, having a place to truly train indoors, because we all know what I was like in the winter, even though this winter wasn't too bad. We were able to get outside quite a bit of the time, even in the winter. But I think those things would help, and those are discussions that are being had. I don't think it's anybody's blind to it. So I think when you do that, then I think recruiting does.
Just see if you can get some of that sweet basketball money, Coach. That's all you got to do. Hey, I want to share a few things with you, man, because I had to go back here. We got a comment from David Neuendorf. He says, hello to Joe from his 8th grade math teacher and freshman baseball coach, he says BB coach. Happy for your opportunity and happy for you. And I would echo that, Joe. As a guy that's known you a long time, man, I'm super happy for this opportunity. You've said a lot of wonderful things here, man. You should be very proud of the work that you and your family did at Grandview University to build that program, a couple of national titles, amazing success that you were able to hand off there. You get to take over a wonderful program. The thing you said about your family, man, that I love the fact that you're going to stay in the same house. The kids are going to go to the same school. You're still able to go and see your kids' events. And I remember it brought back one of my favorite conversations I had with your dad, man, when he very first started that Grandview program, and I would sit in that locker room with him. I loved those conversations with him about life. And I remember that this was something that he was trying to instill in you and Matt and Andy, that being there for your kids and being there for those events was going to really matter. So I'm so happy for you, man. It warms my heart, brings me to tears. I'm really, really pulling for you, buddy.
Yeah, you're getting emotional like I said.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 5:30. I didn't mean to. You said that, and it recalled that entire conversation.
Yeah, you always speak from the heart, Ross, and it's why you've always been a great friend, and really appreciate the work you do. And but I'm going to give a shout out real quick there to Coach Neuendorf. He was my 9th grade basketball coach and 8th grade math teacher at Indian Hills Junior High, which another one of those things. I went and spoke at Career Day, a few weeks ago over at Indian Hills. He's retired now, but he lives in my neighborhood, and sometimes I don't want a ton of walks with my family. But when my kids were younger, they'd ride their bikes. I'd kind of follow them along, and we happened to run. And Coach knew me one of those times. I'm telling you that. This is no disrespect to any of the coaches I ever had in my career. I had great ones throughout my career. My 9th grade basketball coaches were probably 2 of the best coaches that I ever had. Dick Fazio was one of them, and I think Coach Fazio might even live down here in Arizona. I probably should get him up.
We're losing you, Coach. We're losing you, Coach Fazio. Okay. That's all right. Yeah. Okay. Joey, listen, we're going to get you back on again, man. I'll let you get back to the recruiting trail. We'll catch up with you here in just maybe a couple weeks, okay? See how things are going for you.
That sounds good, Justin. I appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.
See you, buddy. Talk to you soon. Coach Joe Woodley, new head coach of the Drake University Bulldogs.
As someone covering that football team, I'm hyped. I was very excited when he got named, and
it's easy to forget. Like he said, most of the time when you take over a program, you're taking a program that's downtrodden, that the players are looking for something new, and you know what I mean. He didn't have to go in and do the Dion speech. He didn't have to go in and go, I'm bringing my own luggage, and it's Louis. Right? He didn't have to do that. He got to go in and go, hey guys, I want to maintain what's going on here. And by the way, I've won. Here's my resume of winning. You guys have a resume of winning. Hey, let's merge this thing and do this. Awesome. I love it.
So he gets to take over for, Todd Stepsis. Yep. And I think if I'm a UNI Panther fan, I feel very similar to, I think, how a lot of Drake fans feel with Coach Woodley. Because
agreed.
Panther fans, you are getting a great head coach in Todd Stepsis. One, on and off the field, he is a great person to talk to. And then he's doing the same thing, taking over a program that has had success for a long time. So he's just wanting to continue it. So Panther fans should be excited too.
About 2 minutes. We'll be back here. About almost 3 minutes. We will be back on therushladio.com with another one of our coaches that we love chatting with, just off of a West Coast swing, their only West Coast swing of the year. We'll talk to him about how that went and how the regular season will wrap up. Coach Rick Heller will join us on The Rush next.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how Bats and Bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
I'm Tyler Koenig. I'm a Chevy technician. I've worked here for almost a little over 3 years. I was a student at BMAC for Automotive Applied Science. Through school, you have to work at a shop, and Darcy offered me a job through school. Willis sponsors the community college, the variety of what we get. I mean, I work on the Corvettes, and then I also work on the trucks, get outside. I have a motorcycle, so I ride my motorcycle. You have both the city, and then if you want to get, like, Ledges is 30 minutes away.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to The Rush, for therushladio.com. Of course, you can follow us on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram. Like and subscribe, and let your friends know that Travis and I are back on. Not Travis and I together. It's Justin and I this morning.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. People are much happier seeing you. I can promise you that. Fun conversation with Coach Joe Woodley, and as I had mentioned, this is going to be a jam-packed 7 o'clock hour because now we are lucky enough to be joined again by Iowa head baseball coach Rick Heller. Coach Heller, thanks for giving us time this morning, sir. How are you?
No, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Yeah. How was that? How was the West Coast swing? How did, I mean, obviously, results wise, hoping to do a little better. You end up with 1 win, 2 losses, but how was the trek?
It was a rough trip, to be real honest with you.
Really?
I mean, it was not good. Travel's rough. You can't get home. When you fly commercial, we had to play at 11:30 on Sunday just to get to O'Hare at midnight, and then had to have a bus pick you up. We didn't get home till like 5:15 in the morning. So that part of it wasn't much fun. And then Washington decided they were going to play a 7 o'clock game on Saturday night with an 11:30 Sunday game to try to gain an advantage. You don't have any say over that, which was, it wasn't good. And then to your point, I mean, we played great other than a blip here and a blip there. I mean, we got walked off twice, so we're tied our head late in the 9th inning of the first 2 games. And, really the only thing that we didn't do well in games 1 and 2, we had opportunities to score more runs. We just didn't hit with runners in scoring position. But we played 2 night games, and at their place, the ball just doesn't carry at all at night. And it was cold and it was drizzly. It was not a great situation to score runs, but we still had several opportunities where we didn't come through. We pitched great, especially Aaron Savary on Saturday. He was the hard luck loser. I mean, he pitched phenomenal in that game, and then Reese Buter gave us the start on Sunday with a lot on the line, and he went out and absolutely carved. We shut him out on Sunday and get out of there with a win. And then Kate Obermuller was lights out for 4 innings. Had a rough fifth, and we gave him a couple runs, and then that was all we could get, and tie game in the ninth, and they bunted with 2 outs in the ninth, runner at third, and the guy stopped it like 8 inches from the line. I mean, he couldn't have drew it up any better, and so that's how we lost game 1. And then game 2 was very similar, but overall we played very well on a tough trip in a tough place to play, and just didn't get the wins. And Washington is playing very well right now. I mean, I don't know if you guys know that or not, but they're in a good place and playing very well. So anyway, it was a tough trip from results, but I think it showed how tough our guys are, and especially fighting back, because you get walked off twice, and then actually on Saturday you get walked off, have to turn around and be back in the field in about 6 hours, 7 hours. You find out what your guys are made of, and we show up and shut them out on Sunday.
Nice.
To give ourselves a chance at the championship next week when we play Oregon.
That's why I was going to ask you, Coach, is what do you learn about your team's mentality when they can get 2 walk-offs against each other, and then you go to Sunday and blow a team out, and now you're getting ready for the Big Ten tournament and all that stuff. So what do you learn about your team's mentality?
Well, I didn't have to learn about it. These guys have proved it all year. I mean, I don't know that I've ever coached a team that has showed up and played as hard and as consistent as these guys have every single day. If you guys go back and look at literally every loss, it was just like that. I mean, in baseball, when you play, 56 games, or you watch pro ball, they're playing a lot more than that. I mean, there's games that you're just not going to win. I mean, you get blown out, whatever. This happens, you get a bad start. We've got 6 losses in the Big Ten, and every single one of them was either a 1-run game, a walk-off game, or we had a lead in the 8th or 9th, and gave up the lead and lose by a close margin, but had a chance to literally win every game that we've lost the entire season, and that's pretty rare in baseball. But what it does is it shows, to your question, it shows you what kind of team we have. The reason this team is good and the reason this team is special is because of that right there. I mean, a bunch of guys that just play hard and play together, play unselfishly. Just everybody that's in the lineup is just trying to do their 1/9 to help the team and pass the baton to the next guy, and it's just been a lot of fun to coach these guys, and excited. We have 2 weeks left. We're coming to Des Moines to play Oregon State Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which should be, it should be a lot of fun. Should be big crowds. The weather's supposed to cooperate and be really nice. I think we can. I think we can do over 20,000 people over the 3 days. Last year we did close to 17,000 when we played Florida International. With Oregon State coming, I heard they travel well. They'll bring a lot of people with them. It just should be a blast. You're talking about a team that's been ranked as high as top 2 or 3 in the country coming to town this weekend in Des Moines, and then next week at home at Dwayne Banks Field, we'll be rocking. I mean, we're playing Oregon Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and with a chance and opportunity to win the Big Ten championship. So man, it's just a fun couple weeks. I mean, this is what you do it for, right?
Coach, I love it. I love the energy. We see it turn on from you. That's really cool. You said something there that I want to kind of touch on for just a moment, because you're right. Like, you didn't learn this stuff about your team over the weekend. You're so late in the season here. It's one of those things, a zebra can't change its stripes, right?
Right.
You said it. You've known all season long that this team had that sort of makeup and fight in it. You've been around baseball a long time. You've been around coaching a long time.
Yeah.
What is it? I don't want to say it's luck or magic dust or whatever.
Mm-mm.
How do you do, what is it that creates that? And how do you try to maintain that or carry that over from year to year, or can you?
Well, you definitely can. And I mean, people talk about culture and they use it so often anymore, it's become cliche. But, you know, we have been a process driven culture program. That's what I try to do since Upper Iowa. Because sometimes, you know, when you have to beat people and you maybe don't have as much physical talent as the other team, culture beats talent if talent doesn't play together and doesn't show up.
Yeah.
It's tough to beat culture. And when I talk about culture in our program, it's on the field, off the field, but it's get better every single day. Focus on the things you can control. Play as hard as you can. Play unselfishly. So it starts with trying to recruit the right player. It has to be the right fit in the program. I mean, humble, unselfish, someone that cares more about his teammates than his personal agenda. You know, and it's not a perfect world, and you're not always gonna hit the jackpot when you're due, you know, but you try. And for 12 years now, you're seeing the culmination of 12 years of guys who have handed the culture over to the next group in a better place. We've had years with more wins or more losses or all of that, but the culture has never suffered. And a lot of people last year said, oh man, you know, it was a rough year. You guys were expected to do all this and all that. Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes things don't go your way. But that team never wavered. You know, they never wavered. They believed till the last day it was going to flip and we were going to win the tournament and we were going to still go to a regional and still keep going and potentially get to the World Series. And they never pointed fingers. They never blamed the other. You know, when the pitching was struggling last year, the first half, the hitters just tried to pick them up. Then boom, we had 3 guys get hurt about the time the pitching figured it out, and the pitchers never pointed the finger. They just tried to pick them up. And then they handed the baton over to the leaders on this team, and these guys ran with it. The thing that was a bit surprising, I think, to everyone was that last year's team turned over so many people. You know, we had 5 drafts that were juniors that signed. We had a senior catcher, senior shortstop, senior center fielder, multiple seniors in other places, and then 2 of our recruits signed pro. So 7 guys signed in pro. A lot of people didn't know what to expect from this team, but our staff knew innately the guys on this team that were coming in and the guys who were coming back had an innate toughness to them. And then the other thing, guys, when you get guys that truly love to play, and you might think everybody does that plays college baseball or pro baseball, that's not true. I mean, there's guys that it's just like punching a time clock going to work. They just happen to be good at it. But we're looking for guys, like I said, who are humble and selfish, great teammates, but also have a drive to love to play and be the best. And this team had a lot of those guys innately on it. And then they took the stuff that we tried to do with them, and they ran with it. And so it's been a lot of fun because of that. We've got great leadership, guys like Gable Mitchell, Brant Hogue, Andy Nelson and Jack Whitlock are our captains this year. And those guys have done a tremendous job. But in our program, everyone can lead. It's not just the captains. The captains are more of a voice. It's not a dictatorship. So you're always trying to find leaders and have guys that will lead. So they've got great help from the entire team on the leadership. And that's a big part of it.
Coach, I know you're looking forward to Oregon State and finishing out the regular season, but I am going to ask you to kind of do a little reflecting, because year has been incredible. Everybody was hyped about the Iowa Hawkeyes. They weren't going to fly under the radar. But is there a player or players that you've just been really proud of in terms of stepping up to the challenge? Maybe they've really improved individually, or someone that just comes to mind?
Well, I don't know that there's one guy, because there's a story behind each of them. But I would tell you, the thing that I'm proud of is that in this era of NIL and the transfer portal, a big reason why we're winning games and in first place in the Big Ten is because we have a lot of guys that had been in the program for a year or 2 years or 3 years and hadn't played a lot. And then now it's their turn and they stepped up. So even though I said we lost all those guys, I think we only had 2-3 position players that were starters coming back. But you got guys like Ben Swales, who had not played in a couple years, Kellen Strohmeyer, who had not played in a couple years, and, but he just kept grinding. Both those guys kept grinding, working hard, sticking to the weight room, going out and playing in summer ball, and then boom, when it was their turn to step in, boom, they produced. And then you got Reese Buter, who played for us last year and just had a really rough year. It seemed like, every pitch he threw either got hit or it was just a nightmare year for Reese. What did he do? Did he give up? Did he quit? No, he went out this summer and he worked so hard on making some adjustments and making changes. And he's been absolutely lights out pitching on Sunday for us all season long. And stories like that where guys have, maybe didn't have the success. And then you got our Friday night starter, Kate Obermuller, had a rough freshman year, up and down last year. He gets drafted. He's a draft eligible sophomore, and he turns it down and says, "Nope, I'm betting on myself. I'm going to come back and I'm going to be a lot better my junior year." And look what he's doing. He's given us a chance to win virtually every time he's gone out there this Friday, on Friday night. And it's just a good story. You got lots of guys that I could tell good stories about, but the whole group is what's special about this team.
All right. So now those are good stories and fun stories. Let's have some baseball fun here. Last night, something crazy happened at Wrigley Field. I'm not sure if you got a chance to see this, Coach. I know you're a very busy man. First of all, let's start there. Do you get a chance to see much Major League Baseball or highlights? Are you...
Very honestly, very little.
Yeah.
But I started out watching that game because one of my former players, Colin Ray, was starting for the Cubs.
Yeah.
And Colin's been lights out for the Cubs so far. He didn't have his best night last night. Unfortunately, a lot of ground balls found holes against him last night. But I stopped watching, and actually, I'm getting up there, and after that road trip, I hit the wall about 9:00, and I was out.
Me and you both.
My
Coach.
wife was yelling at me to get off the couch and go to bed because I was falling asleep on the couch.
So here's what you missed. After they take Colin out of the game, Cubs actually forced that game into extra innings. It's tied at 5. Going to the 11th inning. At the top of the 11th, the Giants busted out a 9-run 11th inning, Coach.
Wow.
Cubs couldn't get out of the inning. Just can't.
Wow.
They can't get the out, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been there. When you hear stories like that, is there a game from, Oh, here we go.
Well, it's funny because I'll tell you how it works. After 38 years as a college coach, I tell people it's about once every 7 years. I call it, there'll be an Angels in the outfield game where stuff like that happens and you're just sitting there. It's been a while for me. It's probably a little more than 7 years right now. But when I was at Indiana State, the last one I was a part of, where we actually were on the good side, we were down 8 runs in the 9th inning with 2 outs at Southern Illinois on Sunday, get out day, the 3rd day. And we scored 8 runs with 2 outs to tie the game at Southern Illinois. And then the last one that happened was my first year at Iowa, we were at Northwestern and we had the big lead. And I think it was like 6 or 7 runs in the 9th inning. And balls were hitting sprinkler heads and shooting right. I mean, routine ground ball, and it jumps over the outfielders' heads with the bases loaded. I mean, anything that could go wrong went wrong, and most of it wasn't because of any errors. It was just weird baseball stuff. But like I said, for us, it seems like it's every 6-7 years you'll have a game where it absolutely just takes over, and you don't have any control over it. It's crazy.
It's a fun game. It's a wild game. The Southern Illinois game, the game at in Southern. Did you win that game that you forced into extras?
No, we did not, because I guarantee you.
That's funny.
Well, you know why? Because the relievers had bagged it, and we were on the road, so we ended up having to go shut them down, in the bottom of the 9th. So we were in the top of the 9th on the road, and mentally, I think all of the relievers had checked out, and our reliever went out there and was just awful, and it was over just like that, and it was so anticlimactic. I mean, you get mad at guys. I was so mad at that guy because, I mean, the best comeback I'd ever been a part of, and then we don't win it. So it's crazy.
I love it, Coach. Listen, this is fantastic. We want to get as many people out as we possibly can to help support you and wrap up this season. As you guys focus on this, obviously, I love how we've seen your attitude change here. We mentioned that road trip and that travel obviously sucked. It seems to me like that this same thing that we've experienced here is probably what the message has been to the team, right?
Exactly. I mean, the thing as a coach when you're in this position is that when you have guys that really truly buy into the process, which is hard work, it's tedious, it's boring to some people. You know what I mean? I mean, you have to embrace that grind every single day. And so as it's going on, the guys almost don't even notice what's going on with the standings. And then all of a sudden it's week 10 and nobody's paying attention to us. And then and I don't know, all they're talking about is this West Coast teams on the Big Ten Network. And we've been in first place since the first week, and nobody hardly mentions us. But in week 10, it was like, oh man, we got to talk about them now. They're hanging in there, we didn't expect that. And then the guys are just getting hammered from all angles by media and reporters and social media. And then the mindset can flip and go, oh, wow, we have to win today. Holy cow, and that's the sure way to derail all of the good things that have happened. So our message is just stick to the plan, stick to the process, play the way we've played the entire season, finish what we started. Don't get caught up in the clutter and all of the stuff coming at you. And it's easier said than done because it only takes one out of the group that's out there to lose it, and can cost you the game. So we have been, I think, doing a good job of keeping everybody where their feet are and just stay focused. And we even talk with our process. We don't even really care what it says on the other team's jersey. I mean, we play non-Division I schools, early in the year when it's, if games, or maybe we can get a game in. So whether we're playing one of those or whether we're playing Illinois or Oregon State or Oregon, it doesn't matter. Our goal is to just go out and play, be the best version of ourselves and control those controllables. And we just keep pounding on that, and hopefully the guys will continue to just play ball and not get caught up in the hype, and we'll go from there. But I thought they did a great job this past weekend, even though we lost 2 games. I mean, really in baseball, you can give yourself a chance, and hopefully the ball bounces your way or you catch the break. But to have an opportunity in every game to win, that's all you ask. And these guys have done that.
Love it, Coach. Pulling for you. I always love catching up with you. You are you're a breath of energy, whatever that is. It's
well, I appreciate it.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving us time this morning. Best of luck to you. I'm probably going to try to track you down when you're in Des Moines and shake your hand and say hello. So
well, that would be great.
Look
and then,
for
like
this ugly face.
If you guys can pump it up and let's fill that place up.
No
Let's
doubt.
fill Principal Park up this weekend.
I don't think you're 20,000. I don't think that's a crazy number. I really don't. I'm with you. It's a much better competitor that's coming to town. They're going to bring some folks. The weather looks like it's going to be in your favor. You're playing great baseball. And I know that last year, people that didn't get down there were told by people that were there what a great experience it was and how much fun it was. So keep it up. Get back after it. And I hope there's a lot more hype and media coming your way here in these coming weeks.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach. We'll talk to you soon. That's Coach Rick Heller, head baseball coach for the Iowa baseball team. Head coach for the Iowa baseball team. It'd be like me saying the men's baseball team. He's the head coach of the head coach for the men's baseball team. Iowa men's baseball coach, Rick Heller. Whatever. You know who he is.
You nailed it.
No, I didn't.
I was trying to be, a supportive team player there, but yeah.
Yeah, you can just be honest with me and say, you suck.
It was bad. It was
really bad.
Brutal.
It was really bad. You can't even get everybody on the air. I'm still getting texts like, hey, dude, it's just you on the stream. I know.
You're pretty selfish,
I know. I'm really bad at doing I don't know what I did that screwed it all up there. I really don't. I don't know how I messed it all up.
Someone had a comment that was like the best thing to ever. Oh, here it is. Ross running the switchboard this morning might be one of the highlights in the history of this program. Thanks, Lady Sideburns.
I don't appreciate it.
I do. I think it's fun.
Don't appreciate it. Justin, what's I can tell you what my day looks like. I am headed up to Coldwater, do some golfing with Eli.
I'm golfing today. So I took off this morning, to go do the show.
Good idea.
I told my boss at Grandview, I said, I can come back like later today and help out with whatever you need because the show ends at 8. He's like, no, we're good. We got it all covered. So I was like, then I'm golfing.
Friday, do you want to do the show from the mower?
Well, so he was like, can you do the show from the mower? Because that would help me out the most. And I was like, that'd be fine. Get like a Zoom camera. Have it at a weird angle though, too. So like, no, have you ever seen where people take photos on their phone and the eyes look all like wonky? That would be funny. You can't hear a thing I say because the mower's so loud.
Well, it'd be better than today. People couldn't hear a word you said today anyway.
Didn't even need to take off work. I had a good time though. Anytime I'll come on this show.
This was fun. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Happy birthday to the boy Eli. We'll go have some fun today. Justin, you're going to be back with us on Friday. Honestly, we we could have you do sometime when Travis is gone. You could do the show live from the course if you wanted to, but we could figure that out.
Honestly,
figure that out. I love the idea. even if we can't hear you, maybe just every now and again checking in with you on the show. Like, hey, let's see what Justin's up to now. We just zoom in. Let's just you mowing.
Let's get a breakdown from Justin on the 9th hole,
looking for golf balls.
just cruising.
Justin looks as stoned as Michael Phelps right now. Look at him. What the hell happened here?
It's just peaceful out there.
All right, we'll be back at it again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Travis will be back with us tomorrow, and then Justin will return for a final appearance of the week on Friday. Thanks so much for joining us. Apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll get them figured out for Friday. I promise you that.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hey everybody, this is Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity. A couple of great things going on this month. We got tons of inventory, and on top of that, right now, we have 1.99 out to 60 months on the new QX60 and up to $2,500 in cash on here. Also this month, we are still doing the 2.9% up to 60 on new QX80s, the 3000 in Conquest. For more information, visit your favorite Infinity sales consultant on our showroom or online at willisinfinity.com.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Spring cleaning continues. Come down to Land Rover Des Moines to get your front and rear differential fluid services done for $199.95 each. Preventative maintenance is important to ensure your vehicle runs smoothly down the road. To schedule, give us a call or head online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.